morning from the SNC World Headquarters in New York. I'm Deontay Maroney with today's top stories. President Trump says the U.S. will face an economic and national security disaster if the Supreme Court rules against his use of an emergency powers law to impose tariffs. Kara Oliver reports.
U.S. President Donald Trump is warning of an economic and national security disaster if the Supreme Court overturns its use of emergency powers to impose sweeping tariffs on nearly every country.
The numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs.
During last week's oral arguments on the tariff case, Supreme Court justices cast doubt on Trump's authority to impose tariffs under the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which contains no references to tariffs. Justice Amy Coney Barrett suggested it could be a mess for the courts to administer refunds to U.S. importers who have paid tariffs that were declared illegal. Trump took issue with media reports about the amount of duties collected that the government might have to repay if the Supreme Court agrees with a lower court that Trump's sweeping tariffs were illegal.
An economic disaster, it would be a national security disaster if we lost the case in the Supreme Court.
It remains unclear exactly when the highest court will rule and whether companies will be entitled to refunds of more than $100 billion in IEEPA tariffs paid so far if Trump loses. Yet Trump hailed what he called a decline in inflation since he took office, arguing that food prices and energy prices were coming down and inflation would be down to 1.5%, quote, pretty soon.
Today we want to pause to honor our nation's heroes. Veterans Day began more than a century ago at the end of World War I and has since become a day to recognize all who've served, past and present, for their courage and sacrifice in defending our great nation. Happy Veterans Day. In New York, I'm Deontay Maroney.